Hello everybody and welcome. Thank you for joining me on this unboxing of Tiny Epic Vikings and Tiny Epic Vikings Ragnarok. All right, so these are mass production samples we just received. These are the final product of Tiny Epic Vikings, fresh off the press. So that's really exciting. We'll actually dig into Ragnarok in just a moment. We're gonna start with Tiny Epic Vikings. All right, so what we have here is a runic game of island raiding by Scott Alms. You'll see these nice spot UV finish on the front of the box there, as well as the sides. Like all of our Tiny Epic games, it's going to surprise you how much content we fit inside this small box. So for starters, we have this really beautiful interior printing. This normally would have been a stretch goal in the past, but for Tiny Epic Vikings, we actually ran the Kickstarter with no stretch goals and just included all of the premium upgrades to the components right out the gate. Okay, let's take a look here at the rule book. So you'll see the QR code here for Dized. So Dized is a fully interactive tutorial that will teach you Tiny Epic Vikings as you learn. So you can skip the rule book and download Dized on your app or check it out on the browser. Definitely something you'll want to do. Is really helpful in learning the Tiny Epic games. We've got several of our titles on there so far, and we're going to have all of the Tiny Epic games using a Dized tutorial soon. So definitely check out Dized. Very helpful. All right, so right on the top here, we have the Deluxe Shaman's mini expansion. So if you got a deluxe copy of Tiny Epic Vikings, it will include that. And then, yeah, check out all of these wood tokens. Just a ton of different wood that comes in this game. That's super exciting. We'll get to that in just a moment. I think we're going to start, though, with a Tiny Epic first, which is this trifold game board. So this is a first time in a Tiny Epic game featuring a game board. So we got the 4-player side there, as well as the 1 to 3 player side here. So that's really exciting to see in a Tiny Epic game. All right, let's dig into some of these cards. So here are the Viking cards. There's 48 Viking cards. You can see really fun, beautiful artwork by Nicoletta Vazzi. She did such a bang-up job on this game. Just a ton of different Vikings. So the Vikings are going to have a rune at the top as well as 3 actions. The top action being how they attack, followed by kind of a primary action and a bonus action that you can trigger if you have the appropriate runes in play to do so. So that's going to be part of your strategy, is gathering runes, both from other Vikings you've played in your clan or from the islands that you control that will help you trigger bonus actions. So yeah, I mean, it just keeps going. Just a ton of really fun Viking art. So that's really cool. All right, and then here we have our large cards. These have the nice linen finish, and so did these cards as well. It's not exactly easy to see on camera, but they have a really nice tactile feel to them, a nice premium stock, and then that linen finish. So this is the era mat. It's going to help you figure out what round you're in, as well as different bonus actions you'll get from the villages and points that you'll be scoring for the runes that you have. And then the base game will come with 6 different gods for a nice variable play experience. And then you've got your player mats, where you'll be tracking your settlers, your ships, your temples, as well as your resources. And on the back of these player mats are solo enemies, and each of them have a different personality and how they function and what they do. So it'll give some nice variety for solo players looking to enjoy the game that way. And we've got our little baggie over here. These are favor cards. These are cards that are won during battling in the game. They're going to offer runes for endgame scoring, as well as resources that you pick up on the fly. So that's handy. You'll definitely want to pay attention to battling over these rune cards during play. Okay, well, let's dig into all of these wood components. So there's just a ton. I'll kind of sort them all out and show you some up close. These are the Viking ships. Let me kind of get that sorted out there. And these are all heat transferred image on both sides. Really nice quality in the wood components. these are going to be your Viking settlers. Let's grab a few of those to show you. And these ones are also double printed. These first ones I dropped out here are the villages. You'll be raiding these villages during play and then using them to trigger bonus actions as well. Then we have the temples as well as the score markers. You can see those are also double printed. The resource tokens. There's 3 different resources to manage in the game. You'll be managing wood, steel, and food. And then we have the runes. These will be scattered throughout the islands at the start of play. And then we have, here is the round token. And then we got our runes, nice chunky double printed runes. And then the God's Fury markers. And this one is particularly cool. This is going to be the active player token as well as used in solo play to mark the enemy ship. So that's all the base game content. And then we have the Shaman's Deluxe mini expansion. So we'll bust into this. This one's going to introduce these Karns, which can act as like wild runes during play. So that'll be helpful. And then you've got just a little leaflet to kind of go over the shaman rules. Really not too much going on there, but the way that they change the gameplay is quite exciting. So these are the shaman Viking cards that you'll shuffle into the Viking deck. They're unique in that they have 2 runes that they offer, as well as special bonus actions that like increase God's Fury. So those are definitely fun. You'll definitely want to include those in your play. And then we have 2 additional gods that you can mix in for a little bit more variability if you have the deluxe content. Okay, so that's Deluxe Tiny Epic Vikings. We'll kind of push this to the side as I dig into Ragnarok and show you what comes in Tiny Epic Vikings Ragnarok. So this is a colossal expansion for Tiny Epic Vikings by Scott Alms. It also has the nice spot UV printing on the sides as well as the front. Okay, so in Ragnarok, you're actually going to get Valkyrie tokens and Valkyrie Viking cards, as well as a whole new game board. So you can actually swap out the game board and try a different game board, which will have different locations and routes that you can take. And it actually makes quite a big impact on play. So definitely want to check out that. We have our giant tokens here. I'll kind of grab those and set those aside, get to the wood in just a moment. I'll show you the new game board. So you got the 4-player side here and the 1 to 3 player side there. So again, you'll definitely want to check that out. It really mixes things up quite a bit. Also in Ragnarok, you're going to have 6 new gods introduced. Again, just for more variability, and it's just fun to try out the different abilities that the gods have. And then these are 4 new solo opponents to add some more variability to the solo play. And then during multiplayer, you'll use the side that shows how your Valkyrie, you'll also in solo play, but this will show you kind of how the Valkyries are used, what the Valkyries do, and then kind of what bonuses you'll get when you have Valkyries in play. All right, let's dig into the Valkyries. And if you're gonna have giants, well, then you gotta have giant slayers. So here are the 6 Valkyrie cards that will be added to the Viking deck. They're also gonna have unique bonus actions that are actually triggered upon having Valkyries in play versus having runes. And then they offer a wild rune, so that's gonna be particularly helpful. And then here are the giant slayers, which are great at, you guessed it, slaying the giants. So you got 6 giant slayers as well. Okay, and then we have our giant tokens. So on the back side, you're gonna see a victory point value that you get for slaying the giant. So the giants will be kind of set on the different islands. They'll be shuffled up, placed face down on the different islands at the beginning of the game. And as you defeat the giants, it's going to be another way that you can score victory points. And some of them score quite a bit of victory points. So you won't quite know what giant you're going after, but after you've slain it and you flip it over and see the points, it's definitely something that's going to kind of change the end game. So you're going to want to go after those giants. And then here are the Valkyrie tokens. Let me just grab a few of these. There you go. And these are also printed on both sides. Every player has access to 3 Valkyries that they'll be able to get into play. Valkyries are particularly nice. They're swift. They're able to traverse the map and the fjords very nicely, and they can also bring other units with them. Definitely check out Ragnarok. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for joining me for the unboxing of Tiny Epic Vikings and Tiny Epic Vikings Ragnarok. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for all the support on the Kickstarter. All right, have yourselves a fine day. Bye-bye now.